現在ドジャースで活躍中の大谷選手。打率も更新され現在両リーグでトップの打率になっています。そちらの海外の反応の翻訳をご紹介いたします。それではご覧ください。
There's kind of a simple genius to good job, bad job. That's what I love on your show. It just simplifies everything. It's a good job, that's a bad job. May I start?
You may.
So, here we go. Let's start with good job, and that is the attitude shown by Shohei Ohtani. Just saw this last night. This was in a ball game yesterday where Shohei Ohtani, actually a left-handed pitcher, comes in. Miguel Rojas gets almost on deck, gets a helmet on, he's stepping up. Look at the reaction. They're pinch hitting for me against the left-hander. He actually accepted it. He accepted it pretty well. Like he's like, all right. And then he realizes they're just tricking him. It was a little bit of a prank. But he thought for a second, it's a lefty, they're pinch hitting for me. How about that?
I like that.
It's like I'm the best hitter in the game, but okay.
That's tremendous.
That's nice.
And it's a lot more creative than a hot foot.
That's right. Yes, I agree. I don't like pranks.
Yeah.
I think that one worked.
That was good.
Kind of revealed the character a little bit, that he was accepting of it for the team. Bad job. Here we go. Our pal Michael Wilbon with Mr. Tony on PTI.
So let me ask you something. The velo, the exit velo, does it mean he's a better hitter than Tony Gwynn, who might have dribbled the field through the infield in his day and hit about 330 career and flirted with 400 once? Meaning he's a better hitter than him? And so what? So what? He's a 260 hitter. So why do I give a damn about the exit velo? I don't. Mm-hmm. And so I guess people need this, Tony, to become interested and more fascinated. And they go, oh, wow. Not only do I not go, oh, wow, it has started the ruination of watching sports for me. Numbers like this repeatedly and put up on the screen day in, day out. It has ruined it.
I can't believe we're still having this argument. And I like Michael a lot, and I'm pals with Mr. Tony. I love him, these guys. That show is an institution. It's fantastic. Yet, why does it have to be the be-all and end-all? It's just there's a difference when a hard-hit ball is struck. We find out there's a difference between 95 miles an hour and 115. Don't you want to know? It doesn't mean that he's better than Tony Gwynn. Yes, does it mean he's better than Ted Williams? No, it does not mean that in any way, shape, or form. But why does this bother people? It's just new information.
From a broadcasting and production standpoint, you just have to use discretion. I don't care if Giancarlo Stanton is hitting 190. When he hits a ball 125 miles an hour and it gets out in an eye blink, that's interesting now that we can measure it.
Right, put it in proper context. What does it mean? It means what it means. Doesn't mean anything beyond that.
Now there are a zillion numbers out there about everything, and it's up to us as broadcasters and or as producers to say what really makes an interesting point, as opposed to just flooding the zone with everything.
Now, one thing he did say there that I like, Gwynn and Rod Carew would not be two guys that we would consider our big exit velocity guys.
Ichiro?
Ichiro's another one, and he's a great hitter.
Luis
And I think that's his point.
And like Mookie Betts doesn't have a great bat speed, but it is what it is. There's results data, and then there's things that you look to get in that's just very like toolsy and scouty. I know you guys don't want to hate, and I'm sorry, Michael, but I know he's getting flooded with stuff, and it's too much. But it's just a tool. You know, I haven't broken out Judge Landis's robe in quite a while until I learned while I was out last week. Bob Costas co-hosted.
I did.
And you threw on the robe. You went to my closet and got my robe.
Someone else went and got it. Someone from wardrobe went and got it.
I'm sure Bob sent someone to get that.
Yes,
and get my coffee while you're there, too, as well. Bob Costas is back with us. Christopher Mad Dog Russo as well. We want to talk playoff format. Bob, I think you've come up with something that I actually kind of like, right?
Yeah.
If you're making tweaks. Now, we've expanded the playoffs. I think we're kind of in the sweet spot with 6 and 6. Where are you?
Yeah, I think that you have to nod toward the modern realities of the way people absorb their sports and baseball fighting for its place in that universe, that entertainment universe. So the third wild card is a good idea. You look at teams now, even teams where their fans are upset, don't put that up yet, they're 3 games under 500, but they're only a game out of the last wild card. So the idea of 3 wild cards is okay. But here's what we ought to do. Anyone that's a wild card.
Can they put that back up now, Bob?
No, not for a moment.
Okay,
I'll cue them. If you're a wild card, you should be subject to a roll of the dice.
Okay, right.
You're coming in through the side door. If you win the division, even if it's the weakest division, generally it's the Central, you deserve not to be exposed to the wild card round. And we need to get to the division series more quickly to eliminate this question. Maybe it's overblown. We've only had 2 years so far.
No, there's something to that. To sit around for a week.
Of too much rust sit around. Okay, so here's what I would do. The last wild card, the number 6 seed, plays a one-game knockout on Monday night on the home field of the second-to-last seed.
Can they put that back?
Yes, they can. Please put it up right now.
I think you can put it up.
And then the winner of that game goes to the home field of the best wild card. And the winner of that
another
game,
one-game knockoff.
Yes, another one-game
I love
knockoff.
That makes
on
sense.
Tuesday night.
Right,
okay?
right.
So the best wild card actually gets an advantage, which they've earned, because it could, in theory, be the second-best team in the league out of a strong division. They only have to win one game. The other two would have to win two games to get to the division series. And the division series starts on Thursday instead of on Saturday, but with this wrinkle. If the survivor from the wild card round is from the same division as the top seed, then the top seed plays the third division winner, because you don't want the Diamondbacks or the Padres or the Phillies, going right after 162 games, right straight into a playoff best of 5. The division series has to be best of 7.
He's zoning out right in front of you.
No, I'm
Good.
not, because
But basically, the last three knockout round, one-game play, and that punishes the wild cards. I like that. What do you have?
He's 100% right. Bob has done that playoff format superbly for a long time. The one thing that I would like to see done is the reseeding aspect of it. I mean, think about, and the idea that if you have the second-best team in a division, like the Dodgers-Giants a few years ago, when the Dodgers won 106, Giants won 107, they should not play in the opening round series. Now, Bob might want to put a little more of an accent on a divisional winner, but I want to eliminate the idea that the two best teams from the same division have to play in a best-of-5 series. And that would eliminate that, because if you go by the records instead of winning a division, you give yourself the opportunity that the teams with the two best records play for the NLCS.
In essence, what I suggested accomplishes that 90% of the time, which is that the number one seed cannot play a wild card survivor from their own division.
Correct. That would answer last year, 2 years ago, or the Giants-Dodgers things, that would answer that. And, I thought that Manfred, the commish, who told me on radio that they were going to look into this, and I thought they'd change it, he was definitely a little bothered by the idea that the Braves the last 2 years were, last year specifically, were 14 games better than the Phillies. And then had to play them again right away.
The Dodgers were 22 better than the Padres and 16 better than the Diamondbacks, and it's nothing against those teams. They shouldn't have to play them right away. Those teams should have to at least advance out of the wild card and then win another division series before meeting the team from their own division, at least theoretically, in the LCS.
Yeah. Bob is right on that. He does a great job.
Bob's very close to being right on that. Can I float one thing your way? Because you even said conceding to the modern era.
Yeah.
Here's my problem now. Where's the drama right now on the Braves, who are kind of off to a mediocre start? They're so powerful, they're still good. But where's the drama for them with the Phillies getting off to a great start and leaving them in the dust? Where's the drama with the Yankees and Orioles, two excellent clubs where there's no drama? They're both going to get in. So what's the big deal? What if we did? I'm floating something, Bob.
Ahead.
What if I float this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Old school, 2 leagues. First place is a pennant winner. They meet in a World Series. They did it for 70 years. What if you did that 1 year? And then you have all the drama for 6 months in the regular season. One time if you did it. Old school. Pennant winners, first place only, 2 teams get in the playoffs. Right? Enough cotton candy for the masses.
You have a 15-team league. You have a 15-team league.
Yeah. And you have first place.
And by mid-season, all those fan bases are out.
Not all the fan bases are out. Your top 4 are in.
There's no wild card.
So how is baseball doing in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s? It's doing pretty well. It's the number one sport in the world.
Listen,
no competition.
Nobody values that any more than I do and understands the drama and the distinction between a pennant race and mere playoff qualifying. But in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, in the 50s is when you first get television, and it's black and white on a tiny screen.
But everybody either didn't have television or had television. And yet it was bigger than football and basketball.
The NFL is
and
not
soccer and hockey.
Yes, and the world has changed.
Yeah, has it changed that much?
Yes,
Are you
and the way people consume
so Bob, why don't we just do all playoffs, where they just continue to play playoff rounds for 6 months, right? And then everything's a playoff game, and yet nothing's a playoff game. Do you know what I'm saying?
This is what's called reductio ad absurdum.
They did it for 70 years in baseball, and it was very exciting.
I do think that with the extra playoff teams, going back to what Brian says, and you and I are purists too, and we like it theoretically to go back to the 2 teams. So I understand.
But there's more teams now.
I know we can't do it.
Yeah.
But they have. The NBA's had this problem. The NHL has this problem, and the NFL. 8 and 9, you make the playoffs sometimes in the NFL. You have devalued the regular season.
Definitely.
Where it's not as big a deal.
That's it.
Here's a good example. If you're the Yankees and the Orioles, and you're both in the postseason, Are you going to go push the envelope like
don't have
nuts
to.
in September
Right.
to make sure you avoid
Yes.
a best of threes? I'm not sure if they're going to do that, Bob.
And what I suggested, there are gradations of advantages and disadvantages based on the regular season. Is it the same thing as winner take all and Bobby Thompson and the Giants win the pennant?
Right.
Of course it's not. But you'd still want to finish first to avoid the wild card entirely. You'd still want to be the best wild card.
In your scenario.
Yes.
Yeah, but
you
that
still
doesn't
want to be
exist
the
right
best
now.
wild card,
Right.
so you only have to win one game at home instead of 2 games, maybe both on the road.
I get it, and I think that is fair. But I think the bigger picture is when you add a lot more teams in your season, you are going to devalue it. And remember, the baseball season lasts
It's already happened.
for 6 months.
Right.
It starts
Good point.
April 1st, and the NBA is not even over yet, and it ends in October, and the NBA has started again.
I'm trying to make the best of the present situation.
But I know what you're trying to do, and I think Bob's got it right.
Roll the ball.
I think Bob's
Wait,
got
wait,
it
come
right.
on.
今後の大谷選手の活躍も期待ですね。このチャンネルは日本人メジャー選手に対する海外のインタビューなどの翻訳動画をご紹介いたします。ぜひチャンネル登録、高評価よろしくお願いいたします。